Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the Round Table of Dim Lighting, we are going to be exploring your worlds by connecting them with our brains and experience and bringing our worlds together in an incredible synthesis of humanity. That's what we do on this podcast, is that things are happening in your life. You're wondering about things. You're trying to approach things. And we're doing the same thing. We're all just people. We're all just little trees trying to grow up into big trees, trying to get the right amount of water and sun and balance, trying to fight the elements that are trying to blow us over, trying to continue to drop our fruits everywhere we go, or our seeds, and let them blow in the wind. And sometimes it can be hard.
I'm not trying to drop my seeds
Sometimes
in the wind.
We don't have seeds anymore because we got vasectomy, but we still
Vasectomy.
do. I say vasectomy because we got it together. It was just one, okay? Technically, it was one.
I think it was
might as well have been
two.
one. I mean, it was two in quick succession, but I treated it as one in my mind.
I hope that they were two
When we got
distinct.
vasectomy, we lost the ability for seed. But anyway.
But we're blooming where we planted.
We are still blooming where we're planted, and we hope you are too. And let's just have a great big humanity experience today.
What do you do when you're in a luncheon?
I know what you're gonna talk about.
What do you do when you're at a lunch with somebody? Maybe it's a breakfast, maybe it's a dinner, maybe it's just a coffee. And they're talking, and there's something on their lip. There's like that.
I don't want you to give the details because I would like to describe how it developed. Because I think that's a key point of this conversation. Can I describe in detail how it developed?
Yeah,
because I was closer.
We didn't talk about it, and so, but you were also thinking about it?
It was the only thing. I don't know what the meeting was about.
But then afterward, we didn't talk about it.
No, we didn't, but
now
I knew we would here.
Yeah.
Let me just, I'm just gonna describe to you what unfolded.
What happened to us?
You've seen this probably. So the first thing that happened was, there was a person. I'm not gonna say whether it was a man or a woman. It was a person, and they were talking.
And we were, it was just us and them basically.
Uh-huh.
And there were two other people there, but they were there with us.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an intimate gathering.
Okay.
This was close range.
The first thing I noticed is deeper in this person's mouth.
You're looking deep in the mouth?
This person was talking and they were opening their mouths, and I just, out of the corner of my eye, my attention was drawn to a spit string that had developed between two teeth.
Oh God, yes, I saw that.
Okay, that's
because you're talking to this person and they're talking to you. You're listening to them talk to you. They're talking directly to us.
Thank you for describing.
And I'm just saying, when they're talking, you're looking at them talk, and if there's a string of
I wasn't looking at this person
spittle connecting the top and bottom teeth.
I wasn't looking at this person's mouth.
What?
It was just my eyes were drawn to it because I saw a flash of something. I thought, oh, it's a flash of spit. It happens. It happens in everyone's mouth from time to time.
And then every time.
But then it began to grow. And it was like
every time they open.
It was like what started as a spider web filament grew into a fishing line. And I was like, it's not getting smaller, it's getting bigger. And then I don't know how this happened. It migrated from the teeth to the lips.
It was trying to come out.
And then it was on the lips for a while, and it was going up and down.
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
And then
is it gonna break? Is it gonna stay that way?
Hold on.
It's like a vertical high wire.
I know this is
lips.
shallow. I'm getting nauseous thinking about it, and I was getting nauseous as I was watching it. I have no idea what this person was talking about. Let's just be honest. I was watching this string develop, and then the string snapped, and it snapped into a little white ball that was on the bottom lip.
You were closer than me.
Oh, I was watching it, boy. And then It went from bottom lip to top lip, and it was going all around.
It was traveling.
I'm about to throw up. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I eat so much crazy shit. I don't know why this is bothering me.
I was sitting there drinking a latte, and I ordered food. I was the only one at the table to order food.
Let me just say, if it had been a beautiful woman, it might have been fun to watch this, but it wasn't a beautiful woman. So, okay.
Well, now you're making it sound like it was an ugly woman.
No. It was a man. Okay, all right. I mean, you already knew that. So anyway,
You already knew that.
So then, hold on, the ball.
A woman would never.
The ball went back into the mouth and landed on the tongue. And then it began to be on the tongue.
Oh God, Rhett. Why are you there? Why are you?
I just want you to know what we went through.
I wasn't watching it this closely.
I want you to know what we experienced.
You could look away occasionally, which I was doing.
I tried.
I looked at you a lot. I looked at you listening.
You were behind me. Anyway.
He's listening. I'm going to look at him. There's no white thing dangling from his face.
So this thing had quite a journey.
What? Why
I
when
watched
it hit his tongue, didn't he swallow?
I don't think he knew it.
It's light as a feather.
And then I guess he ate it at some point. I don't know what happened. But I'm sorry.
You were. I mean, I was wondering why you were taking notes during the meeting, but you were writing down everything that was happening to this spittle thing.
You think I was taking notes?
Well, you remembered all of it.
Oh, I just, listen, man. Steel trap. I remember everything.
I tried not to look that closely, but the thing it did for me was I started licking my lips.
Oh, yeah.
I knew there might be something in the corner.
I lick my lips a lot.
I'm licking this corner. I'm licking that corner.
I see myself on camera sometimes.
He's talking.
I like a little lizard. Why am I licking my lips so much? It's because of this.
Yeah.
It's because I want to prevent that happening.
Yeah, you know,
Drink water. You got to drink some water. Also, I found myself drinking my water. Like, yep,
drinking a lot. Looking at him, like, eyebrows raised, like, this is. You know, maybe you want to try
all
it.
You need right now.
I highly recommend this water.
All you need is. But listen, it happens to the best of us.
I was drinking the water. I was swishing it around.
It happens to the best of us.
Well, that's nice. I'm breathing in.
And I got to say that there's a threshold.
Nothing invited him.
No, there's a threshold.
Reciprocate.
You know, okay, let's say somebody's got something on their face. You tell them, you know, this is beyond the threshold of thing. You don't.
Hey, you got something between your teeth.
You can't mention this to somebody.
Hey, you got something.
You can't say anything about it.
You got something bridging the gap between
It's behind
your
the
lips.
wall of appropriate commentary. It's all the only thing everyone is thinking about while it's happening.
Hey, you got something on your bottom lip.
I don't know how you bring it up.
You got something on your top lip.
Before I understood what Ash Wednesday was, because I didn't grow up with a lot of Catholics.
Now it's back on your bottom lip.
I went to work at my first engineering job, and there was an engineer, and he had the Ash Wednesday mark on his forehead.
It's on your tongue now.
And I saw him, and I thought to myself, I need to tell this guy that he's got something on his forehead. He touched ink or something. I'm a Baptist. I didn't know about Catholics, man.
I didn't know about it either.
We had no Catholics. We had one Jewish family in the whole town of Buies Creek. Okay, like we were ignorant in many ways. So it took me. I mean, I'm literally at a job, having gone to college.
But hold on, it's not a Jewish thing.
Well, you're not listening closely. I said that we didn't have many Catholics and we didn't have many Jews.
Right,
I was just saying that.
But don't bring Jews into it.
So I'm just saying that we didn't know a lot about
Catholic.
other religious experiences.
Okay.
And I began to feel it might be a test of my I was like, you know what? You need to be able to tell somebody when they got a big black spot on their forehead. You need to be able to say something. And I got very close to saying
it definitely
something.
looked like there was something on their hand, and then they scratched the middle of their forehead.
Smudged.
I mean, it definitely had that kind of like just a gentle. I'm sloughing off a mosquito.
Yeah, and then we went to lunch, and I saw another guy with it, and I was like, well, what in the hell's going on here?
Right, because we are pattern recognition beings. And you're glad you didn't say anything to the first guy, because now you have a chance to say something to the second guy.
And this is before Google had really gotten going. So you couldn't be like, what does it mean when I see a black smudge in the middle of somebody's forehead? Now I would know that was Ash Wednesday. But I didn't know anything. I got a technical education at engineering school.
It's the ash part
It's the ash.
of Wednesday.
Yeah. So anyway, you
You
don't
escaped.
mention that.
You escaped that.
There
You
are
didn't mention
certain
that.
things that you do mention to people. But the spittle thing, you can't mention it. You just have to endure it.
That would have been embarrassing if you got something on your forehead. Well, yeah, it's Ash Wednesday.
Well, what the hell is that? You know.
Yeah. Well, I have follow-up questions. Google's not ready for them yet because of, the decade that we're in. I know what it feels like but when you're getting that white stuff happening,
Let's just
you just need to drink.
let's just be done with it.
I mean, there was drink right there.
It's multiple drinks.
Multiple drinks. I don't know. If I start carrying a spray bottle and just spritz them.
I feel like I could feel it if it was happening. to me.
Don't put it on the wide, put it on the tight stream and just hit them right with it.
Don't you feel like
Knock
you
it
can feel
deep.
it? I feel like
I feel like he should have felt it.
I feel like I could feel it. I'd be like, my jaw was harder to open. Slightly harder to open.
My teeth were harder to part.
Oh no, something's restricted.
My lip
spider web is.
My lips keep boinging back together.
I think I would know. And then once it bounced off of the lip and into the mouth, I think I really would know. Oh God.
Let's not talk about it anymore. But it affected us.
Why do we find it? Why do I find it gross? What is it?
Because
It's not like a sign of disease.
because you can look at it and tell the consistency of it.
But why does that
That's
matter?
what it is. It's like
Robots wouldn't care about that.
it's a texture thing.
Robots wouldn't have a problem with it.
It's
Why do we care? Why do I have a visceral reaction to it? Is it a sign of disease? Maybe it's a sign of rabies.
it also gave me anxiety because it made me feel like I was in calculus class again.
Elaborate.
Doctor, not gonna mention his name.
yeah.
He had it would just group on the sides. Just
That was different. That's side.
whiteness would just group on the sides of his mouth.
Side spit's worse.
And it would
Because once it gets there, it doesn't go away.
it'd be foamy and it actually I think he sounded different because his mouth opening was permanently smaller because of these white foamy things on the edge.
And it would go both sides. He wasn't on one side, or it was an equal opportunity spit guy.
Yeah, it was just like
But once it gets on the side, when it's in the middle,
white as snow.
when it's
too.
in the middle, there's hope.
That's
There's hope that it'll
That's
go
why
back
you
in.
kept watching it because you wanted to.
It's gonna go away. It's gonna go. He's gonna eat it before long.
It's like a comet. You want to see the moment that it burns out. Don't look away because
Why are we still talking about this?
I don't know. Let's see if we can talk about it for the whole time.
No. Let's take a question.
I was gonna say, can I play a voice?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Before you do, I want to talk
Oh,
about it's Pride Month. We're getting proud around here.
Yeah, we are.
Our Pride collection updates every year. We got a custom rainbow sweatshirt. It's pretty great. Check it out at mythical.com. A portion of the proceeds will go to helping Outright International in their mission to protect the rights of LGBTIQ people everywhere.
Yes.
Mythical.com.
Mythical.com.
Check out the garb.
There are so many things we keep meaning to get around to. Trying a new recipe, cleaning out that overstuffed closet, learning to play guitar.
Oh,
Well, I've got around to that.
not me.
And while those things can wait, there's one thing that shouldn't. Life insurance.
Yeah, life insurance is one of those things that feels easy to put off, but it can make a huge difference for your family. And with Select Quote, it's easier and more affordable than you might think to get the right policy for you.
Select Quote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience helping over 2 million customers find more than $700 billion in coverage.
Unlike other companies that sell one-size-fits-all plans, Select Quote's licensed agents work with you to tailor a policy that fits your life in as little as 15 minutes.
Got a pre-existing condition? No problem. Whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, even heart disease, Select Quote partners with carriers that can help.
And if you're in good health, they even offer same-day coverage with no medical exam required. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/ear.
Go to selectquote.com/ear today to get started. That's selectquote.com/ear.
Fresh air, sunshine, and good food. That's what spring is all about. And HelloFresh helps you bring that spring feeling right to your kitchen.
They make it so easy to fit quick home-cooked meals into your week with tasty recipes like pasta primavera, chicken Dijon, and my recent favorite, pecan, yes, that's right, pecan-crusted trout.
Lately, I've been loving how HelloFresh is stepping things up in 2025. Their new ready-made meals are a total game changer. Chef-crafted, packed with flavor, and ready in just 3 minutes.
I was able to sneak one in between meetings the other day and actually felt like I'd eaten a meal, not just a snack. And as always, the ingredients are super fresh and seasonal with proteins and produce that go straight from the farm to your door.
Plus, their flexible deliveries make it easy to pause or skip a week when life gets hectic. Feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make the season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/ear10FM now to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. So that's ear10FM because that's 10 free meals.
1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. Before you play that, just a quick check-in.
Yeah, the whiteness on that guy's lip. You want to talk about that?
We're going on a podcast later today, and I feel like we should retell this story because I just had so much
Different
fun
audience.
doing it with you. And so the real ones will know.
Okay.
The real ones will know. But we're also really beginning to increase the chances that I don't think so.
I don't think anybody's gonna find out.
I don't think somebody's going to find out. I mean, we hadn't said who it was.
No.
It wasn't anybody would know if we said it anyway.
That's right. That's right.
It's just a person. And I don't hold it against him. It just happened. We had to talk about it.
Yeah, but it deeply impacted us. Enough to talk about it on somebody else's podcast too. Oh, we did. So do we just workshop something? I'm sorry that we're workshopping something in front of you.
Let's make it when we go on the other podcast, and this is just for y'all who know about this story. Let's make it like one of our relatives. Let's make up. I was a meeting with my uncle.
No.
Yeah.
You would tell your uncle.
No, like an uncle that I just found out I've got. That feels like a more interesting story, though.
Please move us forward.
Hey, y'all. I am flying to New Orleans tomorrow. I'm going there for Jazz Fest weekend.
Yeah!
I am not too good at flying. I get pretty anxious. But I have a little mantra that I tell myself anytime I'm flying. I'm usually like Rhett when I'm flying. Mm-hmm. I'm anxious in the airport, getting prepped. And even on the plane, I get pretty anxious, especially when there's turbulence. Mm-hmm. So I have a mantra. And when there's turbulence and I'm feeling a little bit off, I tell myself, what would Lincoln Charles Neal do in this moment? And then I know he would be asleep, dead asleep, no care in the world because he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care about the turbulence or being on a plane or anything like that. Uh-huh. So I channel my inner Lincoln Neal, and it brings me peace. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm connected with both of you in airports every single time. So I'll be thinking about you tomorrow, and thanks so much. Bye.
I hope it went well. You know, these planes these days, you never know.
That seems to be, what's happening.
I'm honored that you channel me. The thing that I've observed is that the closer you get to me in a travel situation, the less you're able to do that. Like the people that I travel with that I'm most close to, not only you, Rhett, but also Christy, my vibes don't help you guys at all.
We have different struggles, though.
I know, but my vibe doesn't help with your struggle getting on the plane or like getting there in time or not missing it. And my vibe doesn't help with Christy, who's afraid of actually flying or something happening and the flight is compelled to stop flying. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she sees me sleeping, and that doesn't really inspire her. Maybe I'll just wake up and say, "Hey, channel me," and then I'll go back to sleep.
That'll help.
And then when we're like, you're mad because I'm I'm waiting too long to get my luggage into the car because you're ready to get on the road so that we can get there. I'm like, hey, channel me.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
This is not
It's not going to work. So I think the idea of this is helpful a lot more than the reality. If you traveled with me,
this
it
is
wouldn't
something
help.
that needs to happen in your own mind, which it sounds like it is happening. You know the other thing that's happening, not just, plane issues in general with like planes crashing or whatever. That's happening, it seems like. Still really unlikely that it'll happen to the plane that you're on, but whatever. It does happen. But do you know the number of unruly passengers
Is that going up?
is skyrocketing. So,
Or is it just a genre of TikTok that now people are catching on
no.
to?
So it is that, but I specifically read an article. I think I started with a TikTok of is it Senator what's his name? The guy who had the Fetterman. Fetterman was on a plane and he wouldn't put you couldn't see his seatbelt or something, and you're supposed to be able to see the seatbelt, and he kind of made a scene of it, and the plane was I don't know what happened. The plane got delayed. Yes, he was wearing a hoodie and shorts at the time.
But not a seatbelt?
But I think he did put the seatbelt on, but it was underneath his sweatshirt.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, we have to see it or something. I don't know what happened, but
they're doing you a favor by making sure your seatbelt's on. I'm just saying.
It seemed like it could have been easily resolved by him just being like, what is it you want from me? Okay, I understand it, I'll do it so all of us can get to where we're going. I never understand people who are like, I am choosing to make a stand about this thing right now so that all these people are inconvenienced. I don't get it.
Right.
But the thing that's happening is that the number of actual incidents that have been registered by flight attendants is going up and has been going up since like 2021. And it's actually an alarming number, like thousands. And I haven't really experienced this. And we fly a lot, but I think about this every time I get on a plane. Now, I am, like I said, once I'm past security and then I can no longer do anything to affect anything. Then I'm not nervous. If my flight gets delayed and then I start making a decision about, well, do I need to get another flight? Do I need to make a phone call? And then I start getting nervous again. When I have to engage, I get nervous. But when I'm just like, when somebody's flying the plane, I'm like, if we die, we die. So, but sometimes I think to myself.
But a lot of people aren't popping off on planes we've been on.
No, I'm like.
As they say.
This is happening quite a bit. I always wonder, is somebody gonna get sick on this plane? Is somebody gonna have a conniption? I sometimes I wonder, is that going to happen? Because I've never experienced
is somebody gonna refuse to put their sweatshirt underneath their seatbelt?
Only one time in the history of my flights have I ever heard, is there a doctor on board? One time.
You heard that?
One time.
And did anyone answer? I believe you said they did.
I never saw where it was
remember
happening and who it was, but I think it was fine. We didn't turn around or anything. I think somebody was just a little bit flustered.
That would have been a great opportunity for me to speak up and say, a doctor of sex. I could have said that at that point to get a laugh.
I don't know if anybody would have laughed.
No one would have laughed. Now that I've said that out loud, I realize nobody would have laughed. But you're priming yourself for an altercation because you're getting opinionated about the people who are kerfuffling. And that gets you close to being the one who calls them out on it.
Well,
and you got to be real careful about that.
Well, one of these stories,
and because I'm one of those people too, I get mad at people who are inconveniencing everybody because they're being wild and out. It's like I kind of want to speak up and tell them what for, but I just don't have the self-defense training. So I keep my mouth shut.
Well, that's specifically what happened.
And plus, I'm asleep.
In one of these, you literally go to sleep before the plane takes off.
I have a bandana over my mouth and my nose. I have a sleeping mask over my face, and I have a hoodie over my head.
Yeah, you pretty much are disengaged completely. I can't nap, so.
My seatbelt's on top of everything so they don't wake me up.
One of the things that happened in one of these stories was there was a guy pretty recently who got agitated and started banging on the window. You're not gonna do any damage to it, but he was flipping out.
Yeah.
And other passengers ended up restraining him and tying him to his seat with something. And I often think about that. Like I actually try to be.
You think about how to tie people to seats?
When I'm in a public space, I don't know. Again, I am not generally like an anxious person about these type, and I wouldn't call this I'm anxious about a lot of things, but I'm health anxious a lot. Not anxious about these types of situations, but I do find myself, if I'm in a public space, thinking things like, okay, if somebody comes in here with a gun and starts shooting people, like, I literally think things like that. If I'm at like a parade or a festival or something, because it happens so often now, I literally think like, who's with me? What am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna be in a position to do anything about it? I think through. Not that I ever come to any firm conclusions, but
I think if you would come to a firm conclusion, it'd be a really healthy exercise, especially because then you're like, all right, I have a plan now, moving on, because that's Jason Bourne shit.
I did tell Jesse, we went to the parade in our little area of town, and I was just like, anytime in the modern world where a large group of people gather outside where you didn't have to go through any sort of metal detector in order to get in, I think, this is a potential for a disaster. Somebody could run their car into a bunch of people. Somebody could shoot. Like, this is the world that we live in. It is the world that we live in.
I think we should go back to talking about the spittle on that guy's lips.
And I told Jesse.
More disturbing than that.
We set our chairs up, and I told her, I said, hey, I know, don't expect anything to happen, but if anything starts going down, we like hear gunfire or something like that.
Leave the chairs.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the
chairs. And see this street right here? We're gonna run down this street. Cause I was like, this is a wide open lane that just goes out into this neighborhood. Just so we would be together and she's not.
And how did she react when you said that?
She's like, why are you thinking about that? And I was like, because you gotta. If I
leaned over to Christy at a parade and said that,
she'd be mad.
I think she'd get aroused.
Oh yeah,
I think
this would be like, you're actually thinking about my safety.
This would be kind of hot
for
her. Be like, oh, you're speaking my language. Ooh, are you speaking worst case scenario again? Ooh, yeah. Let's run down that alley.
Yeah. But on the plane, one of the reasons I feel like I need to be ready on a plane is I think that people would look to me because I'm big.
Yeah.
That's
true.
99.9% of the time, I'm the tallest guy on the plane. Now that doesn't mean I'm dangerous, because I'm probably not.
You're not.
But you might think I am.
Oh.
And I think I'm probably more dangerous than the average person. You know, like if you just say,
I don't think people are looking at you as dangerous. They're looking at you as like, is he a retired basketball player?
But do you think if there was a machine right here, a 3D printer that could print biological things, only a matter of time.
It can be arranged.
And I pressed a button and the average 47-year-old male across all of Earth would pop out. I think I could beat that guy up. I mean, I'm not saying it would be a quick fight. He would do damage. I would get hurt.
Yeah.
But I think I would win. In a fight to the death, he would die.
Oh. Okay.
What do you think? You think you could beat the average 46-year-old man?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be dead even.
So you are the average 46-year-old man.
Yeah, I think I am. I mean, in the best way possible, right? I'm every man.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of how I...
All right, that's okay. That's not what I meant.
I like to think of myself as every man.
But so what I'm saying is...
And we would both die at the same exact moment.
Okay, all right, that's perfect.
It'd be like a simultaneous, like, throat punch.
Oh, so you're thinking throat punch.
Throat punch, crotch kick.
Crotch kick is really effective.
Yeah. I think we'd be doing that to each other.
You got to know that. You got to know that if you can get your hands or your foot on the balls, you have an upper hand or a lower hand.
Yeah, that's the lower hand. Throat punch, ball grab, same time. Bam.
Because just in people's collective consciousness, they see me and they think he might be able to help in an emergency, and so I kind of feel like I need to get trained.
Yeah, I think you should.
I need something. I need to be able to do something. I mean, I've never been punched in the face. I've never punched in the face. I've had 2 fights in my life, both three. One was mostly on the ground, mostly a grappling game.
Yes.
And then the other 2, gut punches. 1 gut punch from me.
But we always travel with Jenna. Jenna, I'm thinking, like, didn't we hire you because you have special certification to keep us safer? Like,
I can fight.
you can. Well, first I meant if we were choking, it would be your job to save us.
Yeah, I do know the Heimlich and all the things. Although you're going to have to know that if you are choking ever at any point, but like either one of you'll have to get on your knees because you're both too tall for me. So I need the upper leverage. So
if we forget,
heads up,
just say get on your knees.
Yep, I'd have
just
to tell
yell
you to
that.
get on your knees. Yeah.
Get on your knees. I want to watch you die.
Beg for mercy. Beg for this Heimlich.
You know have you seen the suction thing? The suction choke thing that they advertise for every family should have on hand?
What? No. Is it like a reverse pump? You put it in the mouth?
It sucks the thing out. They're like, you should definitely have them if you have kids. But
Does it go in the mouth?
No, it goes over the mouth and then you do, and it sucks it right out, man.
Oh, like a shop vac with a breathing thing. You know CPR too, right?
Yes. I'm not certified anymore, but
okay.
Yeah.
But at one point you were. Basically, you had all the certification to be a babysitter, which is kind of right. That's what I'm getting at here. It's like we need you to be able to save a child because we are the children.
Yeah.
Right.
Is really all I'm saying. But you could also, do you feel like if we 3D printed the average woman that,
oh yeah,
I think I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
You would kill her. You could kill her?
Yeah.
You could.
If you had to. If you had
Don't
to.
worry. Morally, this is just a 3D printed person. It's not a real person.
Okay.
They don't have a soul.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're just organic matter. You can kill them. It's fine.
Probably an average man too, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Okay, yeah.
I can't wait till we get that printer. So we can just print people out and kill them for entertainment.
Yeah, the AIs won't have a problem with that at all. Seem to be overlords.
It's like, Mom, what happened to Daddy? He was killed by a 3D printed
He wanted to see
non-person.
He wanted to see if he could kill the average 47-year-old man.
And it killed him.
Yeah.
Son.
That's the chance you take when you do that, when you play that game.
Because you know how to punch. Because
Yes.
you've been boxed. You've been trained in boxing.
Yes.
May I suggest the throat punch?
Throat punch is a great move. Yeah.
But not with an open hand. If you're making an open hand signal. That'll break your fingers, man.
Like that.
Yeah, punch him with a fist in the throat.
I think you go like that and then at the last minute, bing. That's like the kung fu type. Just the finger comes out at the end.
Yeah,
Well, it could just be the hand. You don't need a lot of pressure for a throat punch. Like
Side of the hand, too.
If you're doing like a full-on punch to the throat with someone, that could really harm.
You can kill them.
Yeah, that could be really
kill 'em.
harmful to their like whole system.
Yeah, whether they're 3D printed or not, you could kill them with that.
The reason why I'm thinking about the throat punch is because I watched Companion, that movie that you told me to watch. I finally watched it.
Did you watch it with the family?
I watched it with Christy. I really enjoyed it, but there's a throat punch in that.
Yep. I don't remember, yes.
She punches him in the throat.
Oh, yeah. What a great movie.
Out of nowhere.
Didn't you love it?
I would have enjoyed it in the theater because
Great theater movie.
you start to forget how funny it is. And if you just heard a couple people continuing to laugh, it would keep you in the right zone.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny throughout.
It's funny throughout, but
Did your wife stay awake?
no. But she was there for the beginning and she was there for the end.
She's seen the beginning of so many movies.
Yeah, and she usually sees the end. Because sometimes she'll wake back up.
You can piece it together.
And she will refuse to admit that she was ever asleep. It happened again last night. We were watching a show that only she wanted to watch. Like, she had been out of town. She comes back in town. I'm like, I'm going to watch whatever you want to watch. She was like, well, I'm watching this show about middle-aged marriages falling apart. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. It's like 4 seasons or something.
Oh, I watched it yesterday.
Steve Carell and Tina Fey and...
I did as much of a binge as I could do. I watched 4 episodes of that as if I was watching a movie.
I don't recommend it.
I would say that it is, first of all, I feel like I take offense with the fact that they are calling it 4 seasons because they want you to watch it because White Lotus was popular. I just feel like that, even though it has nothing to do with the 4 seasons. But I think that you see a group of people on the billboard.
People on vacation.
On vacation, it says 4 seasons. It's like, oh, Netflix has got their own White Lotus, and I don't like that.
Oh.
I think that's why I watched it. So yeah, it did work.
Because 4 seasons is a hotel.
But it's not
But it's not where
it's
the
not
hotel
nearly
they're
as
staying at.
well made as White Lotus. But it's got a lot of. It has enough people in it that I like.
It just doesn't have enough laughs.
I am compelled to continue watching it, but I did find myself there was
you're pulling for the relationship.
There was an inner battle of like, I want this to work. I want this to be a little bit better than it is.
Yeah. Christy fell asleep in the middle of it, and then swore up and down that she never went to sleep. It was like, so you're snoring while awake?
Yeah. Do you quiz her? Did you quiz her?
Then he said, do you quiz her? Wait, what? Quiz her? What's quiz her? I quiz her. I didn't quiz her, no. I knew she was asleep. I didn't want to, it's just not a hill I need to die on to prove to her that she wasn't there for a show that she only enjoyed. I don't know, it just.
Did you find yourself looking at what Domingo was wearing and wishing that you could add it to your wardrobe? I thought that you might enjoy some of his.
The big cuffed pants and the.
Well, like the rompers and the onesies.
The rompers.
Yeah, he like had a.
I only watched 1 episode.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I did notice Domingo has quite a fashion
He has
sense.
a onesie at some point.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Keep watching. See, now you got a reason to watch.
Okay, now I'm gonna keep watching. Let's hear another one.
Hey y'all, so I just heard the person who called in on the last episode about code switching, and so I've been born and raised in Florida my whole life, except for when I was in high school, I was brought to Michigan, and nobody there could understand how I was from Florida, but I had a little bit of an accent. They claim that Florida is just not a part of the South at all, and so that question got me thinking, I'm so tired of people thinking that Florida is not a southern state. Not everybody from Florida is from the Keys. So I just wanted y'all's opinion. Do you think Florida is a part of the South? Because I consider it part of the South. It might not be the deep South, but I definitely consider myself a Southerner. So, all right. Thanks, y'all.
A little bit of clarification for you, Link. Code switching was something that we talked about when Jesse was here.
Okay. Southern code switching?
It was if I remember correctly, it was someone who, when she was from the South and she could go back into that and then she could go up north and come out of it. Mm-hmm. And we discussed the merits of code switching or just always being yourself regardless of the environment.
And I could tell in this voicemail that there was a little bit of back and forth there. It wasn't 100% Southern accent. It would come and go depending on where she was in the sentence. Mm. So I think she was code switching within this voicemail.
Maybe as a demonstration.
As a demonstration only.
Which is what the other woman who called in about code switching did in the phone call.
Oh,
as well.
I'll have to listen to that.
Okay,
but where in Florida is she from? Because that's what matters.
Yeah, let me just I'm going to give you a couple unequivocal facts. Okay, if you're from Tallahassee, Florida, you are a Southerner. Okay, that is the South. You 100%. If you're from Miami, Florida, you're not a Southerner. Those are 2 completely different worlds. If you're from Orlando, you still don't count.
No.
You still don't count.
No.
Okay? But if you're in the Panhandle with without a doubt, you're in the South. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar. I think if you're in Jacksonville, I think you're still in the South, but you're kind of like, you're like Metro South. You're like Charlotte South. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, Jacksonville is the largest city in America by land area.
What?
Jacksonville, Florida
Is
has the largest area of city of any place in the nation.
And there's a military base there, right?
Probably, I don't know. Not that that
probably
means
everything
anything,
now that
it's
it's
just a
that
little
big.
fact that's stuck in my brain. But you based on how you're talking, you seem like you're from the South.
Yeah.
But you might have to always make this clarification for people because they need it.
Yeah, you can't be from down there in the peninsula. You just got to draw a line across. If that whole thumb, that limp thumb, if that thing was lopped off, everything that would stay is the South.
Basically, Southerners can't abide by having a coast in two different directions.
Yeah.
We get confused when we can go two different ways to get to the beach. We need one way to the beach.
Right.
And so I think that's probably geographically where the line is that when you get to a place where all of a sudden you've got equidistant beach and you're not in Kansas, equidistant beach and you don't have to leave the state lines, you're not in the South anymore. I think that's the rule, and I don't know why it works that way, but I'm confident in it.
It's because Miami has its own culture. Orlando has its own amusement culture. And then you've got all of this Tampa stuff. You got all of this retirement culture, transplants.
Yeah.
You got all these people down there. And then, yeah, all the Southerners are up there. They're just creeping in from Georgia and Alabama. It's just the Southern is just the Georgia, Alabama extension south. But then you go down to that limp thumb and it's just a bunch of people seeking thrills and havens.
And if it's any consolation to you, if you look at those maps of the future sea level rise that we can expect and what parts of Florida are going to go away, it's all the part that's not the South. The only parts of Florida that will be left is the parts that I consider the South.
Yeah, and maybe that creates problems. Let's stay out of it.
Did we solve that one?
Yes. Very simple.
Hi, Rhett Link. This is Amber from Virginia. I am currently studying evolutionary psychology at JMU. And one of the questions we talked about in my class was, can humans be altruistic? And I'm really curious, especially Rhett, what he has to say about this.
Yeah, we don't need to hear from
Can
Michael.
humans do something without expecting something in return? Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Can humans do anything without?
First of all,
expecting
I'm
anything in
jealous.
return?
I would have loved to have studied this in college, and then I would actually know something about it and not just seem like I kind of sometimes.
You might be burned out on it though if you did that.
Maybe I wouldn't appreciate it. Maybe thinking that it would be cool to know is half the battle. First of all, this actually speaks to something that is a common misconception about evolutionary theory. And it is an argument that I once made when I thought that evolution didn't happen. And that is this idea that you can't explain altruism, you can't explain love, you can't explain essentially human cooperation and service towards other people if the principle is natural selection and survival of the fittest. But that is a misunderstanding and misrepresentation of what it actually means, right? Because
Well, I now would add one more thing to the list: self-sacrifice. That's like the ultimate.
right. But we observe self-sacrifice in many different places in the animal kingdom. Many different places in the animal kingdom. I mean, look into a beehive. I mean, it's like all they
I put on protective gear first.
They will do anything for the queen, right? And is that because they are motivated by love for the queen? It's like, well, no, it's a cooperative. Things don't evolve simply. The genetic changes happen on the individual level, that's where the raw material takes place, but the change is observed over the population. And cooperative species are more, the individuals who can cooperate within their species are more likely to survive and pass on their genes. So you can actually explain altruism and almost every aspect of human morality from an evolutionary standpoint. I'm not saying that is exactly what happened. I'm just saying you can explain it. It's not lacking.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about like colonies of ants as well as bees, you're talking about willing self-sacrifice to elevate to keep the species, to keep the colony going.
Yeah.
Right? But I am assuming that they're chasing some sort of instinctive reward.
Oh, of course, on an ant level, yeah.
On a human level, even if you're doing something self-sacrificing, I think you could always find at least a sliver of something that's self-motivated. Like, I am doing this to get a reward.
Yeah. Yeah. But does that not make it, does that mean that it's not altruistic? Because I don't think.
Well, if her definition is like you receive no benefit from it, it's only for the benefit of others.
But you do, but what you're saying, and I agree with, is you do receive a benefit, because anything that you choose to do on your own accord, you do that because you have decided that that is the thing that you should do. Meaning, I don't know enough about like philosophy in order to like put this in a respectable way. But what I'm getting at is every choice that you make, you are actually making it for your own self-interest, because you yourself are interested in making that choice, even if it is a choice to help someone. You made a decision to do it. And that may be completely to another person's benefit and completely to your own detriment in that moment, right? Your physical well-being or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that biologically speaking, there's the way your brain chemistry is behaving at that point. You are making that choice because you feel that that choice is justified for you to make. And I'm also adding that actually makes sense in light of the way that our brains work and the way that our motivations work and how they evolved.
So no, there's no true altruism by the strictest definition.
If you want to get really technical about it. Because even people who are like...
Because even if you're running into a burning building to save somebody, let's say if you're a fireman, don't get too excited, Jenna.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's like,
not here. It's just
I think that they're geared towards this. There's a reward for taking heroic action that's, that they're probably experiencing as they do it, like the rush of adrenaline and doing the right thing and helping people is a reward.
It makes
them feel good.
Makes them feel good. And that's that's great. That's how we want our species to work.
But doing something just out of obligation, like I should do this, I'm being made to do this. Well, that's not altruism either. If
you take somebody
that's
like
being forced.
You take somebody who is like a radical servant, like Mother Teresa, and should we applaud and can we applaud and commend her? Of course we can. Her behavior to do that, but also,
I've heard that if you read her journals, she explores her own selfishness.
Right, she's probably, because she was probably honest with herself. But what I'm getting at is that woman couldn't live her life any other way. She would be miserable if she wasn't serving. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Because I just think that, but that's good. That's something to be celebrated. That actually shows that, there's hope for our species, because we actually get a physiological reward when we cooperate and when we help one another. The reason that you feel good, and there's certain chemicals that are released in your brain when you do an act of service, that's a great thing. And I'm not saying this is means there's no God. I'm saying if there is a God, then that God designed it to work in that way. so that you would actually feel a physiological benefit through service. And that makes sense, right? From that perspective. But it also makes sense if there isn't a God and this is simply a material process and the idea is for this species to continue to propagate itself, that if every single individual in that species was only after their own interest, then they would all die and they wouldn't be able to pass their genes forward, right? It makes sense from both perspectives is ultimately what I'm getting at. I'm
curious what the Buddhist perspective on altruism would be. Are you familiar? I'm not. Like, the philosophy of dying to yourself, denying yourself, embracing suffering. Like what's the impact with like your deepest motivations to do the right thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
And how it impacts
I know
what you want.
I know that Buddhism, is a non-dualistic tradition. So connectedness to all things. I mean, this is, and obviously there's a radical application of a non-dual perspective that gets to a place where you won't even step on an ant because it's like you're stepping on yourself. You're stepping on this creation that you are just another part of. Like you're just a point in the universe that's popping up somewhere. So I would say that it ultimately, properly interpreted and applied, will definitely lead to service. And you can actually see the purpose of your existence. This is what you hear, what you talk to most Tibetan monks. It's like, I think the Dalai Lama has said this, like, what's the meaning, what's the purpose of life? Service.
Sometimes we raise more questions than we answer, and that's okay.
Hi, Rhett Link. My name's Ashley. I'm a big fan of the show. I was calling because I need some advice. I love my mother very much, but she is not a punctual person. She usually is between 20 minutes to 2 hours late to everything. And I don't really know how to deal with it. It's something she's been doing for a very long time, so I'm kind of used to it. However, I'm getting married soon, and I cannot have her late to these things. So any advice for someone who's always late would be really appreciated. Love you guys. Thanks.
Send her a different invitation. Her times are different. And it's hand delivered by the person who's going to pick her up and drive her to the place. Mom, you get a personal driver and it starts at this time, which is a lie because it's 2 hours earlier. Other than that, never travel with the woman. Always meet her places and get her to say, I'm okay if you start without me.
Yeah.
Now, the only person I'm willing to wait forever for is Alicia Keys.
Okay.
At the occasion of meeting Alicia Keys many years ago, who is, as far as I can tell, one of the most pristine humans to walk this planet in every aspect.
Yeah.
But she made me mad because I showed up at this thing. Now I was just accompanying. This is back when Britton, my cousin, was like recording with her, and this was my occasion
because of the
her.
voice stuff.
Right. It was after the voice stuff, but she was like, "Hey, I want you to record with the band. I'm gonna set you up with everything." And so it was a really cool recording studio. She was like super generous, but she wasn't there. And then after a day of like me hanging out and kind of being a fly on the wall, having a good time, they were like, "All right, she's coming for dinner." They had someone who was making dinner there, and then we were all starving. And then it was like 15 minutes turned into an hour, turned into 2 hours of waiting for Alicia Keys to show up. And it was tough. I got real hangry. But let me tell you, all
no
that
apps?
No apps, no snacks. It was like, it was barely water. It was a fancy place, but I don't know what was up with no snacks.
Right, okay.
And So yeah, I was at the end of my rope, and I was pretty negative on Alicia Keys until she showed up.
Uh-huh.
And then let me tell you, the moment Alicia Keys shows up, everything changes. It was a wonderful, wonderful world to live in and be a part of. Hers. And the meal was fine.
Oh.
It was a bit cold.
Yeah, it was because it was ready.
Why am I talking about this? Because she's the only person I'm willing to wait hours for to show up for something. Lauryn Hill tries that with all of her shows. That's why she has a reputation. If you ever want to see her live, you just show up 2 hours late and she'll show up at the same time. I would not do that for Lauryn Hill, but I would do that again for Alicia Keys. I'm waiting for that phone call. Hey, you want to come hang out with me 4 hours after you think I'm going to be there? I'll be like, yes, yes, yes.
Assuming that this person's mother is not Alicia Keys. I mean, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be a thing?
Could be. So there would be an exception in that case.
I think her kids are younger.
But yeah, it can be a bit frustrating, especially.
Just don't travel with her. Don't go anywhere with her. Always take separate cars.
To me, it depends.
Go on without her.
It depends on the. It depends on the circumstance, right? Because lateness can be. I mean, we were late this morning, right? But we're also like, well, I mean, if we get in at this certain time, then we can still do the thing that we need to do. It's like, okay, it's not just. But like, if it's like a dinner, a meeting, I tend to never be late for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't like to be late. That puts people off. That's like Tom Hanks' #1 advice to people in the business is never be late, always be early. He's always early. He's never the problem. That's what he said. That's like his big actorly advice.
Because it can set things off. It's a chain reaction that then creates.
Yeah, just be there. But some people it's really hard to do. So you got to hold their hand and you got to lie to them a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, I tell
separate call times for the mom at the wedding.
Like I tell Shepard, if we have to leave somewhere, I give him a fake time, but he figures it out. That's the problem. But I think you can unleash this strategy for an event like the wedding, and you just can't do it too often.
Yeah, Mom, I'm giving you a Secret Service agent escort. Make her seem special about it. I don't know, concierge. You get your own mother of the bride concierge.
I mean, now we're talking about spending a fair amount of money. I think just give her. I think the lowest amount of money.
It could be a cousin.
Is to fake the time
with a mask.
Invitation.
Like put like a Halloween mask on a cousin, concierge mask.
Or say, I need you to be there at this time because the family is going to do this at that time, and that's not true. Like, I need you to be there at 5 p.m. because we're doing pictures at 5 p.m. And then really I just need you to be there at 6:30 so that you can be ready for the ceremony at 7 or whatever the timing is.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Hi, Rhett Link. My name is Charlie Fisher, and I am from Portland, Oregon. I kind of got, I won't say epiphany, a situation. So I go to Planet Fitness every week, multiple times a week. And I always start with cardio. Just the thing I hate the most, so I do it first. And I usually go to the treadmill area. There's about 30 treadmills in a whole row. And I've been going to this one every single time I go. I pick the same one. And 9 times out of 10, there's someone at that singular treadmill, and there's about 20 more open treadmills. So I just need some help. I don't know if I should ask them to get off. I don't know if I should maybe claim it, put a sign on it. I don't know. Yeah. I would just love some input on this. All right. Thank y'all. Love y'all.
I want to know more about this treadmill. Like, why is this treadmill so special?
There's pheromones on it.
And it seems like it's special to other people because...
It must have a good view of the TV or something.
Or it's the last one against the wall, so you kind of feel like if you only look one way, you feel like you're alone.
But also,
running alone.
in my experience at public gyms like this, there are a bunch of treadmills that don't work, and you learn the ones that don't work well, and you know the ones that do work. So it can be a combination of that.
Yeah, I will tell you, I have zero, and I mean literally zero experience. I've never been on a public treadmill.
You've never been?
I don't think I've ever.
You've never had a gym membership to anything?
I've had a gym membership, but I haven't gotten on a treadmill.
Well, here's one thing, Charlie. Don't do your cardio first.
Oh.
I'm just saying that.
What? You got to do the weights
You
first?
should do because what happens when you do your cardio first is that you actually exhaust yourself a little bit, and then you actually can't do the movements in your strength training to the degree that you could otherwise do, and that causes you don't end up working your muscles as hard. You don't get your progressive overload in and all that.
What is all that?
So start with your.
Yeah, but doesn't that then compromise your cardio performance?
You want your cardio performance compromised because that's the point of cardio. You're not trying. You're not.
I think the point is just self-flagellation.
You're not competing against someone on the treadmill, right? But when you're doing weight training, you are competing against your past self in order to outdo your past self, and that's how you cause muscle growth to happen.
So you're saying that, like, if I'm tired
that's totally fine.
That's good.
If you're a little bit exhausted and have your heart rate up after strength training, taking that into cardio, first of all, you probably don't have to do as much cardio. But second of all, yeah, it's just about what zone are you working in? Just get up to that zone. So that's your first problem.
Now,
Mr.
Mr.
Starting
Fisher,
with cardio.
You don't have to take Rhett's advice,
but you should.
for the reason that he's given it. But there is a good side effect of his advice, and that is now you've increased your ability to choose when to go on the treadmill.
Right, because what you could do,
you can still do it first if it's open, but if it's not, then you can say, oh, it's even better that I wait, and then you start lifting weights or doing whatever other thing you're gonna do. You're doing like a push-up or a sit-up, and you're keeping your eye for it to open up. Matter of fact, you can be doing your weights and stuff right behind the person on your treadmill.
That's probably a bad idea.
Just right there behind them, point blank range. So if they hippity-skippity slipped and fell, they'd run right off the back of the thing into you.
And now, but now you got to leave your weights in that part of the gym. And nobody wants that. Unless you're doing a farmer's carry.
But you're ready to quit working out in order to do your cardio at any moment that thing frees up. Because if that's what you're really after, then everything else serves that goal.
I think you just need to learn how to attach yourself to a different treadmill. I mean, this is not a person, you know? It's not, you're not cheating on the other treadmills. Just, you know.
As somebody who thinks similarly to him, like creature of habit, I don't know what's going on in my brain, but like, yeah, I get attached to the things the way that I like them. I don't know if you knew that about me.
Yeah.
And though I've never been on a treadmill in a public place, I could see that this would happen very quickly to me. The moment I went in there, I'd be like, that's the one. That's mine. So I would be totally there with you. But I think it's good to go elsewhere, to
fight that instinct.
To fight that instinct a little bit and to go to another treadmill. And then you can say, I'm appreciating all the things about the treadmill that I'm not on right now. And I can be so excited when it does open up.
Now, if this is
more of a treat.
If this is really a different treadmill with different features, that's hard. But it doesn't seem, that was not explained. From the context of your question, it seems like we've got a bunch of similar treadmills, if not exactly the same.
I mean, you could put a sign on it, but I don't think it should be like a reservation sign. I think it should be like an out of order sign. And then I think you've got to come in to the gym every time in a treadmill repairman suit.
Yeah.
Now it can be breathable and you should be able to work out in it, but this is how you're going to have to come to the gym every day.
Well,
now,
this is actually,
as a treadmill repairman.
This is a thing, not specifically treadmill repairmen, people coming in, but it is a thing now, and I just wish that these things did not pop up in my social media feeds, but they do.
What is the thing?
And that is people I don't know if it's one guy or multiple people doing the same thing, dressing up like a janitor.
What?
At the gym.
Taking my advice before I gave it?
They dress up like a janitor, and it's for their videos. It's so they can, there's one guy, I think he has like a really heavy broom that he's like sweeping with, and he's like, here, hold this, and like a big buff dude holds it and it's really heavy. Or he sees like a guy like squatting or something, and he's like, can I get in on that? And he goes in there and he's like actually like a really strong guy, and so then he starts doing it or whatever. So, I don't know why.
Hidden camera gym videos.
I don't want to encourage this behavior because I have to imagine, first of all.
I mean, have you ever been to a gym with an influencer there filming themselves?
So thank God I got out of the going to the public gym thing.
During the pandemic,
and I just work out in my garage. And yes, I don't have everything that is at the gym, but
because here in LA, especially if you're going to like Equinox or something, I bet you're seeing, because you would see Peck Dancer.
Terry Crews. Yeah, Terry Crews was at my
I call
gym
him Peck Dancer because we're friends.
But no one.
They will sit down the phone.
In 2019, no one was doing that.
And now
no one was like, here's my phone, here's my camera, I'm bringing it in here. And now, only thing you see online related to fitness is, somebody's filming themselves, and people getting mad about people walking in front of their camera. Well, this is not a freaking film studio. This is a gym. If you want to really do that, why don't you just get your own setup at your house?
Oh,
So anyway, I don't want to contribute to that. So I don't think they should dress up like.
I assume there's some gyms that don't allow filming.
Oh, I'm sure.
Some gyms don't allow certain genders.
Is that a thing?
Isn't there? Yeah.
There's women only gyms.
Like.
That makes sense.
Orange Theory isn't that like a...
No, Orange Theory is everybody.
I think you have to be orange to go there.
Oh.
It's racist.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Against non-orange people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a safe joke to make because no one's orange?
Well, there is someone who's orange.
There's one person who's orange.
Famously orange. Are you still not getting it?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Trump.
Yeah, I am. I don't think he goes to the gym.
I don't think he does either.
Just based on some observations.
Golfs.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was running a gym, I don't know. I guess you don't want to, the reason you don't want to shut that down is because you want those people, as insufferable as they might be, to come to your gym because amongst them are the people who are the most influential in the space that you're actually serving. So those people who are working out are watching these people work out. Oh, this is my gym. Yeah, I know that guy. So I think that there's probably a little bit of a give and take there.
Sometimes they would come to the gym just to watch them work out, and then they'll post a video of somebody like ogling them at the gym. But didn't you invite that? So now you're sitting there making people look at what this guy did when I was at the gym. He was looking at me. Well, isn't that the point? Aren't we all looking at you?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways, can you?
So I think my advice is do your cardio second, but also use a different treadmill.
Just to appreciate those moments when you get the right treadmill.
Right. And then it'll be a special treat.
This is an analogy for life in general. You're not always on the same treadmill in life. Sometimes you've got to be on a different treadmill.
You can't always get what you want.
But if you try, sometimes you get what you need.
Get what you need. Yes.
Right. Hope you got what you need today. It was good to hang out with you. If you want to call us and give us some fodder for conversation, 1-888-EARPOD1.
Hey, Rhett Link, this is Cody from Florida. Just driving down the road randomly, I hear an ad playing on the local radio for your podcast show. That's awesome, man. I've been watching the show on YouTube probably since, good Lord, 2015, 16 time frame. Love you guys. Now my kids love you guys. Just think it's awesome that you guys are getting the reach and the push all the way out here in local radio in Central Florida. Awesome, man. Love you guys. Hope you guys keep doing a good job, man. Keep it up.